Hey, this is Matt Cain with the San Francisco Giants, and you guys are listening to Torture Cast.
You're listening to a podcast by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants with hosts Willie Dills, Chad King, and Ben Lee.
Let's go Giants! Let's go Giants!
Dedicated to the greatest team in Major League Baseball history, the San Francisco Giants. This is Torture Cast.
Standing on top, not gonna stop. We came to play, ain't slowing down. We're here to stay, and we're stomping on whatever's in our way. I'm feeling like a giant tonight.
Welcome, everybody, to the Torture Cast, the podcast by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants. The NLCS bound San Francisco Giants currently. Yeah, that is right. The Giants beat the Nationals, and I wouldn't call it convincing fashion, but 3-1. Didn't go to Game 5, so it's pretty nice. And we're going to talk a lot about that. We're talking about the Pirates game, and we've got a nice crew in here tonight. So I'm Willie Dills. Of course, we've got Mr. Chad King. Welcome to the show, Chad.
What is up, Willie? My ulcer medication is running out, so I need to re-up for the NLCS.
It's I feel like I'm developing an ulcer as we speak. Today I had a lot of acid reflux, and I think some of it had to do with the copious amounts of whiskey that was going into my body yesterday. But I think some of it has to do with the nerves that seem to be coming along with these games. And so far, no laughers, lots and lots, minus the Pirates game, but no easy wins in the playoffs. And we're
not at all.
No. And then we also have special guest joining us tonight, Eric Nathanson, who is a returning guest. He's been on the show several times and does the 2outhits.com. So welcome back to the show, Eric.
Thanks for having me again, guys. It's always great to be here. I'm so excited right now. Just be thankful that we're not all anxious for Game 5 tomorrow. So
Yeah, this is a different mindset.
You guys are talking about getting new medication. You have to be doubling that script right now. I mean, at least we don't have to deal with another elimination game.
No
Think
kidding.
About that game, too, because that would be going back to Washington. That would be probably Zimmerman. I mean, you'd think they would have to start him, right? I mean, I don't think it would make sense to start anybody else, considering how well he threw. And we would be, we would be throwing out Peavy, which I would feel okay about, but it's just that's not the game. We did not want to play that game.
No.
Oh, no, heck no.
In no world did we want to play that game.
It was not an elimination game, but the Giants treat it as such. I mean, there's no way they wanted to go back to Washington. There's no way.
Yeah.
No way.
And I treated it as an elimination game as well. I went to Zeke's. I gave it the full elimination game treatment. Got the sloppy Joe, did the shots, the rally shots, basically did the whole thing. I needed to recreate the 2012 magic because I went to a different bar on Monday and that didn't work. So I just realized, there was no runs in that bar.
Oh, so that was you. That was you.
That was me. I went to the wrong bar.
Okay.
I apologize to everybody out there. The thing is, though, it's really just elimination games that I have to do at Zeke's because I have a perfect record there in elimination games right now.
Yeah.
But I figured, this counted. This was as close to that as you could get because Game 5 was a scary proposition. So
totally was.
Yeah, that's the way Bochy treated it, and it was very reminiscent of 2010's Game 6 against Philly, where Bochy took the mentality that all hands were going to be on deck. We want to win this series now. We don't want to have to keep going on, acting like the Giants were against the wall, and he kind of seemed to take the same exact tact.
Yeah,
I feel like the team as a whole did. I mean, you saw the way that they were scratching and clawing for everything in that game. That game could have been a blowout in the Giants' favor with just 1 2-out knock with bases loaded.
Well, no, they left 10 men on base in the game. And I know a lot of critics and Nats fans are saying, hey, the Nats gave that game to the Giants. And, in a certain aspect, they did.
That, absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely. But look, when certain fans say that the Giants got lucky, or the Nats fans say that the Nats gave the game away, it doesn't matter if you earn the runs or if the runs are given to you.
They're all
because
earned.
Part of the game is defense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just say, "Oh, well, the Nats gave you 2 or 3 runs." It's like, well, yeah, that's part of the game.
Yeah, exactly. That's half of the game.
That's half
when
the
you
game.
guys are out there. So.
I mean, it's not like, "Oh, sorry, we gave you 3 runs. Can we have those back and just not start from scratch?"
But not only that, though, Chad. But the Giants continued to load the bases and put pressure on this team. Eventually, something was going to snap and the run was going to get through, and that's what happened.
That was part of why they drove Gio from the game in 4 innings.
Oh, yeah.
They got him out of there so quickly because runners were on base the entire time and they were applying pressure. The Giants took advantage when the Nationals made mistakes, and the Nationals didn't take advantage when the Giants made mistakes.
That's exactly right. And that is absolutely what I think is a part of the whole playoff resolve. They talk about the intangibles. Why do the Giants, who on paper look inferior to the Nationals and almost every single team they've ever played in the playoffs in the last 5 years,
we've been the underdog in every single one of these series.
Every single one of these series. Yeah. Why do they continue to win? It's because they have the most stable psyche. I don't know what else to say. But they do not make the mistakes that the other teams capitalize. Sure, they make a couple of mistakes, but the other teams
make them on Monday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why we lost that game.
And we lost that game.
We lost that game. But look what it is. Out of 4 games, the Giants made 1 mistake, and they lost that game. They did not make mistakes the other 3. The Nationals did.
Well, here's the other thing that means, though. The Giants don't have a margin of error. I think these other teams think they do.
They
come in thinking that they overpower the Giants in so many ways that they can kind of get away with it.
If the Giants had the talent of the Nationals or some of these other dominant teams, they would sweep every series. It's ridiculous, But the Giants just seem to have that knack where, on paper, in the regular season, maybe they're not so good. They just qualify for the playoffs. Out of the 10 teams that qualified for the playoffs, out of 30 teams, they were literally the number 10 seed.
Yep.
And here they are in the Final Four because they have the experience. They know how to lock it down. They know how to not make mistakes later in the game. They know how to capitalize on the mistakes that maybe younger teams, inexperienced teams make. And that's exactly what the Giants have done.
Champion blood.
Champion blood.
Yeah, so I believe it was Bochy who said that first, right? He said that in a meeting.
It was Bochy,
Yeah.
All right, so let's go over some of these games real quick, and we'll just kind of brief recaps a little bit, just some of the standout moments from these. We haven't had a chance. I know, Chad, you talked about the Bucks game, but we haven't as a full podcast with all of us here.
No,
had a chance to talk about that game. So, I mean, that game really came down to 2 things in my mind, and that was Bumgarner just being Bumgarner and just going out and saying, "I'm the ace. I'm going to win. This is a game we have to win, 1-game series." And I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do everything that has to happen for us to win this game. And his performance was insane. There was no question in my mind he's going to pitch the entire game. But I think about the 7th inning, you just see it. Pitch count was low. He was overpowering people. There was just no reason to go to the bullpen at that point. So I really like that. And this is another thing. I think Bochy, as a manager, understands the moment almost better than anybody else. Sure. And knows a hot hand is a hot hand, and you stick with the hot hand. And then, of course, Crawford. Crawford hits the grand slam. By the way, the grand slam, one of my favorite pictures that came out after that game was the picture of the one guy who caught it, smiling from ear to ear. And he's actually a Bucks. He's wearing Pirates jersey and stuff. But he caught a home run in the playoffs. I mean, he's stoked.
I'd be happy.
For that brief moment, he's stoked. And then everybody around him, deflated, sad, just broken. It was just such a good picture. So, Eric, what stood out to you about that game? I mean, obviously those things, but
Well, yeah, because Crawford, it sucked the life out of the place because it's like Hudson was the one who said it afterwards. As soon as that ball was gone, he knew they were going to be spraying champagne. I really was impressed with the fact that the Giants scored 1 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, and 1 in the 8th.
Yeah.
So if there was any thought of the Pirates climbing back in it, had they even gotten a base hit off of Bumgarner or anything solid like that, you know, the fact that the lead just kept extending was the Giants just stepping their foot on their throat and saying, look, we've been here before. Let us keep going on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That was huge.
Thank you for coming.
You held the momentum essentially, because and you saw that happen actually in Game 4 against the Nationals when Harper hits that home run and ties the game. You feel the momentum shift.
Oh, sure.
And that's a scary proposition in the playoffs. Is if the momentum shifts back, it could continue to build, and you could end up losing a game you're supposed to win. So building on that 4-0 lead was huge in that game, and it really made the whole team just relax and say, all right, all we got to do now, just get a few more outs, and we can do that. So that's a really good point. Chad, I'm sure everyone's heard all of your thoughts on this because you talked into a microphone by yourself about that game.
That's right.
Let's move on.
Rambled.
Let's move on to the big series. The Pirates game obviously huge, 1-game playoff. Get past that, huge. This National Series, though, to me was, this was the team that I thought if we get by these guys, then anything's possible, because this is the team that had the best record in the National League. They're pretty much, like, almost as universal as you can be, picked to be the team that wins it all this year by a lot of experts. And they were a team, like, I felt like, okay, if we take these guys down, we've basically knocked the Giant off, and now we can do it. Now it's game on. Like, anything can happen. And Game 1 was incredible. Peavy goes out there, his very first postseason start, right? He'd never started in the postseason. Is that correct?
No, he won the World Series with Boston last year.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Boston.
Oh, that's right. But did he not have a win or something? What happened there?
No, he was horrible with Boston last year.
Yeah,
he didn't have a win. That's what it was. So he never had a postseason win. That's right.
He was their weak link. Yeah.
But he goes out and he basically just does everything you're supposed to do, and he's up against Strasburg, who's, everyone knows this kid's supposed to be something special, and he outpitched him in pretty much every sense of the word. He didn't give up anything. The 2 runs that they did get were, solo shots later on off of Strickland. So that game was massive for taking the momentum in that series, and you got to give a lot of credit to Peavy for that one. And I also a lot of credit to Strickland if he gave up the home runs for getting the biggest out in the game, which was the Desmond, I think, with the bases loaded.
Yeah, bases loaded.
And that pretty much like squelched the last real rally they had. The two solo shots, I don't really consider those rallies. It's just, one guy launches one. And that game felt, the torture was back. But that game felt pretty good from start to finish.
Well, look, the Nationals hit 4 home runs in the series.
Yeah.
Every single one was a solo shot.
That's correct, yeah.
And, what's incredible is that the Giants and the Nationals each scored 9 runs in this series. And yet the Giants won 3-1. It sounds a little weird, but it's because the Giants, in all 3 of their wins, won by 1 run.
1 run. Yeah.
Yep.
1 run.
The other one was a 3-run, so
exactly.
it evened out.
So it evened out. And, a lot of National fans, like we talked about earlier, are saying, oh, the Giants got lucky, blah, 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 the whole thing. But it's like, well, yeah, your team needs to not screw up in the postseason. They need to field bunts. They need to not throw wild pitches. They need to
need to get runners on
field ground balls at the pitcher. I
feel like the whole team, though, watching the games, I feel like the whole Nationals team pretty much just tried to hit home runs every single time they're
well, no, what really pisses me off is that
nobody did anything.
Reading internet comments and just seeing all these people saying, well, the Giants wouldn't have won if Gio Gonzalez had fielded that ball. The Giants wouldn't have won if Rendon or Gonzalez had fielded that bunt. The Giants wouldn't have won if Barrett had not made that wild pitch. It's like, yeah, maybe you're right. But that's the fucking game.
No, they are right.
That is the fucking game.
Yeah.
Well,
you are supposed to make those plays. That's exactly the point.
So the Nationals wouldn't have won if Madison Bumgarner hadn't thrown the ball down the left field line.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
the Nationals made more mistakes than the Giants, and it was a very close series. Could the Nationals have won this? This series off of a couple of balls going different ways? Absolutely. We all acknowledge that. But the fact is they didn't. So don't bitch about it.
Well, okay. Fair enough, but Chad, I think we can all move on from this. I think we're okay. We understand.
Yeah, we understand.
We don't need. Yeah, I think we've beaten that point into the ground. We get it. We played better. We won. Sorry, that's what happened. Did you guys catch this though? Like Eric, did you notice that I felt like the Nationals were not playing like a team baseball game throughout this entire series.
No, the only people hitting, nobody hit the ball. It was like, if Bryce Harper is going to be the one to beat you, let him beat you because nobody else is going to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And as weird as it sounds, if Harper wanted to tie the game with that solo shot like in Game 4, or even when he hit that solo shot off of Strickland in Game 1, I was like, nobody on base? Fine, keep it going.
Sure. Oh, yeah, you got to try to get the guy out, yeah.
The other thing is their batters never seem to come back and respond. Like, after those 2 home runs were given up by Strickland, the Giants came back and scored. They'd scored earlier in the inning.
Yeah, they'd scored the one run to get to 3-0.
It was 3-0.
Turned out to be a huge run. In the end.
It was. Because then it went 3-2 after the 2
But then, of course,
shots.
you also we loaded the bases up again after giving up the tying shot and got the run, eked the run across. And also, let's just talk about this really quickly. How tired are we of seeing Buster Posey get thrown out? It's like it's just comical at this point. Like,
no, I tweeted out, I think I've seen him thrown out at the plate 24 times.
Yeah.
I love the aggressiveness, and I like trying to put pressure on a team. Like, they have to make a good throw. And so many times you actually will get away with it. It's just kind of one of those things. It goes one way or the other. They've made good throws. He's not a fast runner. You get a little extra time. If he's one step faster, he's safe on all 3 of those. So.
Well, Posey, he was, thrown out twice at the plate, once at second base on a wild pitch. And, he said Flan, before that wild pitch on the intentional walk, Flan said, hey, watch out for the wild pitch here. And I personally don't buy that.
I don't either.
I don't either, because that just happens. No. It happens once in 1,000. Well, it is his job, but I think
his job is to just make the runner aware of every
because most of the time when you are a runner at third base or any of the other bases, but specifically third base, and there's an intentional walk going on, you're going to take 1 or 2 steps off the bag. If it was a regular pitch, you're going to take 3 or 4 or 5 steps off the bag. And so my personal opinion, because watching the replay, how long it took Buster Posey to make it down the line, which, granted, he's not a fast runner. We all know this. I don't think that
he wasn't
Flan really was sitting there saying, get the maximum lead you can, because I think this guy, this rookie, is going to throw it over the catcher's head. I don't think that...
nobody thought that.
No. Buster was standing there milling towards third base because in his mind, okay, they're going to walk this guy.
Exactly.
The first time's going to be called. It's not like he's going to have any active involvement.
And I don't blame him for that.
No,
I really
not
don't.
One bit. Not one bit.
No, but the other thing that happened in that play, and I had some people started tweeting like, "Oh, it's terrible to even try to take the base there. You're too slow, Posey, to be even doing that." I mean, the bounce was perfect. The ball bounced directly back to the pitcher.
Oh yeah,
and he was able to immediately throw to the plate. So that ball could have easily bounced another direction, and Posey's safe. And he actually was almost safe anyway.
No. The good news is that they challenged the play on the Buster Posey rule itself, which in the first half it would have been overturned and he would have been safe. But in the second half, they made an adjustment with Joe Torre and all, saying that, if you're not the catcher and you are coming on the play, you can go ahead and block the plate at the last second, blah, blah, blah. But, the fact of the matter is the Giants got lucky there in terms of it wasn't a 2-run lead, it was a 1-run lead, and that's all they needed. So
no, exactly. I mean, that was the beauty. Yeah.
It speaks to what Willie was saying about the Nats playing team baseball. Did you ever feel like the Nationals were applying pressure? Like, we're talking about all these missed opportunities that the Giants had. They had the bases loaded here. They had these guys on here. They had driven 1 run in. And there's no talk about, oh, wow, the Nats had this. The Hunter Strickland in Game 1, bases loaded situation, it's like the only one I can think of that was really, really high leverage from one of the Giants relievers have to step into or something like that.
As far as the heel of the series, my vote is I hate to say this, but Matt Williams.
Yeah. Matt Williams had the worst series of anybody. Absolutely. I mean, he showed his inexperience. I love Matt Williams. We all love Matt Williams.
We all love him.
He's a giant.
Oh my God! I had a poster hanging on my wall in college.
I used to bite my jersey when I went to the plate.
Yeah. It's. I mean, this is a guy we have a lot of affection for because his time here was special, and he's somebody you root for because he's a good guy. He's a really good guy, and I fully believe that he will be a good manager. I think it's just when you're a young manager, you're going to make some mistakes because you haven't been there before. And I think the one thing that you need to do, though, is not second guess yourself. And I hope that this doesn't create like a seed of doubt because you could see it coming from the Washington subreddit. Is just like, get rid of this guy. This guy sucks. Well, we should have won. We lost because of our manager, and that's terrible.
Well, no, to me, there's two things.
He's not Mattingly, okay? He's
no, much better than Mattingly. I agree. We're going to talk about that later, but there are two big decisions that I did not agree with if I were a Nats fan. Yeah. And of course, the one was taking out Zimmerman.
Yeah, taking Zimmerman out because of the one walk. He was cruising. That was
well. Look,
and also, that was a questionable walk because Panic actually took a very close pitch.
That's the whole point. He retired 20 in a row.
Yeah,
20, and he had 3 hits given up overall. But that walk was not a wild walk.
No, it wasn't like he's losing.
It was close.
He was still throwing crisp pitches. He had movement. Everything was still working for him.
Yeah, he was at 102 pitches, and then he takes him out, puts in Storin. Of course, we all know what happened. There was the base hit by Posey.
And then the base hit down the line.
And then, of course, about the line drive the last time Posey was up is part of the reason he made that move.
Well, okay, so I'm going to put this out there, though, that it's not necessarily even the wrong thing to do because you have a closer for a reason.
No,
and
that's true.
Oftentimes, this is what happens. You let your guy go out there, and if anybody gets on base, you put your closer in. You give your guy a chance to finish the game off, but he understands and you understand that if someone gets on base, you're getting pulled because we're not taking any chances. You've been pitching for 9 innings. That we got this guy's fresh. He's ready to go. So, from the standpoint of managing a baseball game, this is not some decision that's never happened before. And Matt Williams went off the radar, just completely off the reservation and just made some crazy
MLB
moves.
Network actually, a lot of their analysts actually agreed with his move despite knowing what the result was. They said, hey, look, the guy was at 102 pitches. It's a move that would have been expected by a normal manager, but I don't think Bruce Bochy would have ever made that move.
No, I think Bochy sticks with him for sure. But Bochy does things that a lot of people don't expect. And Bochy made some mistakes in this series as well. I mean, I think pitching Strickland in Game 4 in the inning Harper was coming up. I don't think that was a good move.
I agree.
But all right, so I mean that game. You could argue that Matt Williams somehow caused that to be a loss, but again, the players have to play the game. I mean, he could easily come in, Storin could come in and just shut the door, and then everyone thinks it's brilliant. So Bochy made a lot of these moves in 2012 where it's just like somehow magically that worked out perfectly, and he kept doing it, and everyone goes, "Oh my God, he's a genius." But if a few of those don't go that way, there might have been the correct move, but he doesn't look like a genius.
He had a couple of them himself in Game 2 that they were just magically touched that could have turned horrible. Santiago Casilla going for 2 innings and Yasmiro Petit going for 6 innings in that Saturday game. I mean, that's where Bochy totally outmanaged Williams. Is he utilized his bullpen in such a way where he was going to try for it towards the end of regulation and use his relievers through the beginning, but know he had Petit in reserve if it had to go on down the line.
And if things got really bad, you had Lincecum as well. And actually, I really liked getting Lincecum up, but not actually pulling the trigger on that because Petit had a rough first inning.
Yeah.
He did not look sharp. But, Bochy shows that he believes in his players. He's obviously not showing that he believes in his players.
And by the way, out of the 25-man roster for the NLDS, Lincecum was the only player.
The only guy who didn't come in?
Who did not get...
So wait, Gary Brown got time? I missed that.
Yeah, he did.
What did he do? Did he come in just for?
I think a defensive
later.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So every single player got a pinch hit or pinch running or defensive replacement or threw a pitch. Lincecum was the only person who did not get on the stat sheet out of the 25 players.
He's kind of getting the Zito treatment right now, I think.
He is.
Which is,
I mean, he's been in the bullpen. He's warmed up.
Yeah.
And I think in the NLCS, he will get action.
No, I think he will. At some point, he will. I mean, that was a short series, so it's more likely that he won't. But in this one, he got 7 games, potentially. And at some point,
the Cardinals have to score more than the Nationals did. So
I feel like we as much as like you think one of these days these offenses are going to go off.
Okay, look,
they haven't been against.
So ESPN had, I don't have it in front of me, but ESPN has like 80 baseball analysts, right? Mm-hmm. And they had their whole like who's going to win the World Series, and they went series by series, and they have the numbers, and I don't have it in front of my computer right now, but the Giants were like seriously like 3 votes out of those 80 for the NLDS, and like 1 vote for NLCS, and 0 votes for the World Series.
Get to the World Series,
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And it's just it's incredible to me because every single team, the Final Four, if you will, is an underdog, and all of these prognosticators, all of these experts are absolutely flailing in the wind right now, and they got to regroup.
Pretty brutal.
It is. It really is because we got the Royals.
The Royals in a sweep too.
Yeah, in a sweep, who were not favored. We got the Orioles, who the Tigers were favored.
Yeah,
we got the Cardinals and the Dot. No, and they were, and I agree with that. That was the closest one, by the way, the Orioles, because they were slight underdogs.
Yeah,
but most people still went the Tigers. We have the Cardinals, who were underdogs for the against the Dodgers, and of course the Giants, who were literally the lowest seed and most underdog team of all of the playoff
We're underdogs
predictions.
to the world right now. So
yeah.
No matter who we face, we're going to be considered the underdog.
Yeah.
And that's
they'll
fine.
be underdogs if they win this and they face Kansas City or Baltimore, because Kansas City will be running on their hot streak and they can run on them.
Isn't that
Baltimore's masher?
No, isn't that sad? Because the Orioles are favorites over the Royals right now. But if the Royals were to make it to the World Series and the Giants were to make it to the World Series, there's no doubt the Giants would be underdogs to the Royals again.
But here's the thing. I don't think it is sad. I think this is our wheelhouse, man.
I agree.
We're good here. We're
I
fine.
agree.
Like we don't care. We were underdogs to every so far. So what is it? 7 series in a row now that the Giants have won?
Yeah. 8
We've been
if
an
you
underdog
include
in every
Pittsburgh.
single one of them.
But yeah, 7.
There's not been a single one where the majority of analysts picked the Giants. Not a single one.
Not a single one.
That list you were talking about, Chad, I actually looked at it earlier today, and I don't know how many people it was deep, but I counted 20 people who had Dodgers Nats in the NLCS.
Oh, yeah.
20 people who didn't even pick either the Cardinals or the Giants ahead of time. Now, I'll be honest, in my head picks, I didn't have the Cardinals and the Giants winning either. I did have Baltimore, though. I thought Baltimore's a really good team this year. They're really tough.
I think so, too. Yeah. But you know what? This is why the game has to be played, because you can just look at it and you can say, oh man, well they got this guy and that guy and this guy, and 3, 4, 5 is amazing, and they're starting pitching. And I mean, we all remember in 2012 they're bringing up this little stupid graphic, and the Tigers starting pitching gets 2 checks. 2 checks.
Oh yeah, that's
and they give the Giants 0 checks.
Yeah, that's
for
right.
the starting pitching, and we're like, whoa, buddy, 2 checks? We're a pretty good pitching team. It's almost getting comical at this point to me that every time the Giants move on in a series, and I'm a Redditor, I like to go to my Reddits and I like to see what's going on. And oftentimes I go to the opposing team's Reddit. I don't go until we beat them because I don't want to see. I don't really want to see the smack talk. But I love how every single time there's been a thread that is essentially like, why did our whole offense slump at exactly the same time? That's crazy. We're so good. How did we all go in a slump?
How could Jason Worth hit 057? Or Adam LaRoche hit 069?
But I love that
How does that happen?
Not one time in the other Reddit does somebody pipe up and go, well, maybe the Giants pitching is just really good.
Yeah.
One time. It never crosses anybody's mind. It's amazing.
Well, Ryan Vogelsong, like, I mean,
Perfect.
who the
Exactly.
I mean,
What the hell? What?
Right, he's the only starting pitcher in the history of Major League Baseball to allow 1 run or fewer in each of his first 5 career postseason starts.
It's crazy.
I mean,
his record
ridiculous.
is insane.
5 starts, 3-0, 1.19 ERA. Here's a guy who had an 8 ERA in September. And
well, we were talking about if he was going to make the rest of the season. I mean,
yeah. Giants fans
gonna
are thinking like, oh crap, he's going to start game 4? Oh shit!
No,
you know?
well, you know what? You know what the true Giants fans though did? They went rally enchiladas.
Enchiladas.
Let's do this.
Well, I didn't have enchiladas. I had tacos.
Okay,
but I figured that was close enough.
Well,
as long
the
as
word on the street is it's spaghetti now.
Yeah, that's what I hear too. Because he's been having a rough go of it, so
But-
he had to do something.
Dude, the dude was hitting 95 in the first couple of innings.
He fixed
what
something
the
in
hell?
mechanics, he said, where his legs weren't. He wasn't getting as much push with his legs. And
Yeah,
he
but
was
95?
basically for 7
Come
days or
on.
something, he didn't throw. Right, he had a ton of time off. So he said that he just was looking at video that entire time, and you know, he fixed a couple of things, and he said he felt really good, and he on plenty of rest, arm is fresh. So there you go.
Yeah, plenty of adrenaline.
Nice.
Yeah, you could also notice
38 or 37. I mean, he's hitting 95 on the gun.
Yeah, I think it's 37. He trailed off to about 90. After the Pence catch against the wall.
Yeah.
But that was fine because that's what was asked of him, and he delivered it again. Every time Vogie goes to the mound in the postseason, I feel like we're like, just get us 5 innings. Just get us 5 innings.
Absolutely.
And every time he delivers above and beyond expectations.
No, absolutely. It was great.
Here's the difference, because Bochy goes to the pen in the 5th or 6th inning. You know, Matt Williams is like, oh yeah, let's just put in this rookie, in a tie game, or when we're down by 1. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, and everyone
He left Tyler Clippard and Storen and these
Steven
guys and Strasburg in the pen.
Yeah, it's like
Just
an
sitting
elimination game. You lose.
Oh, let's
game,
put
you're
in the
done.
rookie. Okay,
Willing on the bench.
Yeah. So every single analyst too, and everybody said that the Nationals had the clearly better bullpen, and I did not see that. I mean, when we win an 18-inning game and our bullpen gives up nothing
for 15 innings. Yeah.
Like, okay,
Pretty
so
amazing.
you guys can all shut up about who has a better bullpen than the Giants, because it does not exist. I think at this point now, you can clearly say that if it's a bullpen game, nobody can outduel the Giants right now. Of the 4 teams left, there's no way.
That's another
all right,
testament. It's Bochy again, because he knows how to put the guys in the right position to succeed.
He sets the matchups up. Okay, so let's talk about the one mistake that Bochy may have made, and let's talk about putting Strickland in the inning when Bryce Harper was going to come in. So I thought that was really the only questionable. I mean, because I would think, Machi. I know Romo's your 8th inning guy and is the 7th, so Romo's kind of off the table. But I would rather have Machi, Affeldt, almost anybody else in that situation. Not because I don't think Hunter Strickland is much inning, but because of that one specific matchup. Bryce Harper cannot hit anything but a fastball, and that was on display very much throughout this entire series. However, that the fact is he can hit a fastball very well. So while he can't hit the other stuff, that one thing he does that really, really good. And 100-mile-an-hour fastball is not going to faze this kid, and we saw that. And also, that 3-2 pitch was straight over the middle. I mean, Posey actually set up. His glove was like down the heart of the plate. So
It was a challenge.
I understand. Strickland. There's almost like a guy who throws that hard, and a guy who. Do you guys remember Gagne versus Barry Bonds?
Oh yeah,
in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, well, I know you hit fastballs good, but I throw fastballs real good, and it's almost like a machismo thing, Like I'm gonna give you my best pitch, and if you hit it, fine. And that seemed like what happened there, but I don't want him to be in that position, I guess.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I didn't understand why he was in that position.
No,
Why not play
he had other
matchup
options.
pitching through that inning? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, also he's a lefty, so you put a lefty in to face it. There's just so many more reasons to go with almost anybody else in the pen, and I thought Affa would have been a great choice in that inning, but tough to second guess Bochy, but in that one situation, I think we were all in the bar at Zeke's, and all of us were like, "Wait, Strickland? Like, does he know that Harper's coming up this inning?" So the other thing too, and I'm going to talk about this later, is I'm really glad to see Harper not in the playoffs anymore because I was so sick of listening to them cream their pants over this kid for everything he did, anything he did. He like runs in and makes a can of corn catch in the outfield, and they're like, "Oh, let's talk about Bryce Harper. Oh, you know he's only 21." It's like, yeah, I know. We all know. We've been talking about it the whole freaking time. And let's see. Anything else we got to go over? I think that's pretty much covers it. Yeah. Oh, okay. Like, let's briefly talk about Bumgarner losing, which none of us saw coming, right?
No.
Did we all expect sweep when we got 2-0 and we had Bumgarner going?
100%. I'm not going to lie.
No. I thought there's no way we don't win this game. I mean, Bumgarner is like the hottest pitcher on earth right now after that start. And it really didn't come down to his pitching that failed him, though. That's what's kind of funny about it. He wasn't quite as sharp for sure, but it came down to
it's the amount of beers he can put in his hands.
Yeah.
What is he up to 5 now?
I think this is one of the biggest reasons that everybody whose team is out at this point, they should all just start rooting for the Giants. I know that's not going to happen, but just for the fact of seeing if the Giants win it all, after we win the last game of the World Series, what is Bumgarner? Is he going to just like do a keg stand, or what is he like? How does he top? He continuously now has set the precedent. He's going to have to continue to add beers. He's just going to do like a full 12-pack, just open them all, turn it over. Someone pour some whiskey down the middle of it. I mean, it's just going to get.
He can start adding props, doing it on the back of a cow, maybe rolling a tractor out onto the field and doing it in front of the fans.
I cannot. I hope that this is actually what happens. I mean, I feel like he's setting it up. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he does. He's adding every time.
Yeah. He's like, oh yeah, they loved my 2 beer thing. Well, how about 4 of those? It's good stuff. All right, so let's move on. Let's do some of the big question stuff here. This is, of course, where we bring up some things that we think are big questions, and we do our best to answer them. And sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong. But here we go. What do we do? We just heard word that Michael Morse is going to be healthy. He says he's 100%. Will be healthy, and I think right now, is he officially, they're saying that he's going to be on the roster? That's the last thing I heard. I don't know if you guys have heard this as confirmed yet or not.
I haven't been anywhere near a computer today, so
okay.
I have not heard.
So my understanding is he is definitely on the roster, and so is Timmy. So both of these guys are going to be on the NLCS roster.
So who falls off? Gary Brown?
Likely. I think that would be, because he's probably not going to get any meaningful at bats anyway. So he's really in there as a pinch runner and a defensive replacement. And can you really afford to have that? I think Perez kind of fills that role anyway. So, I guess my question here is Morse hasn't hit any live pitching in a long time.
No.
How do the Giants utilize Morse if he makes this roster?
Off the bench.
Off the bench, you think pinch hit role?
Yep.
Yeah.
I say start him.
Yeah.
I don't.
I'm with you on this one, Eric. Because
really,
the reason is that Ishikawa and Perez haven't done anything out there.
So I know.
It really doesn't get worse. The only thing you lose is a little bit of defense, and obviously that's what's going to happen. But again, I don't think there's been any. Like, I don't think he's going to hurt you, even if he does absolutely nothing. And if he does nothing, we go right back to one of those 2 guys. It's fine.
It just feels weird to me to trust a guy who's played 6 career games in left field, Travis, over a guy who's played hundreds of games in left field, Michael Morse. There's just that familiarity factor. I think that's got to at least click in for Morse to be out there. I know he's a liability, but that's why I say start him.
I also think, though, that when you look at what the Giants' offense has done, it's really sputtered around certain spots in the lineup outside of a couple of big hits. Crawford has gotten a few. Belt's obviously come through several times. But when you talk about, the Ishikawa into the pitcher spot, into Blanco, that's really been a dead zone in the lineup the entire playoff so far.
Yeah, it is.
And if you can you can shift some guys back. Morris hits in the 6 hole. Now you're talking about a potential to be Crawford in the 8-hole, somebody who can actually do something there. I think you really open up the possibilities to score some runs in innings that I feel right now like we have no chance this inning when I look at who's coming up. So I think you just got to take a flyer on this one, especially if the matchup is good, if he has good history against somebody, and just go ahead and put him out there. If he says he's out, go.
You'd still bat him in the 6th slot. You wouldn't think about putting maybe like Morse down at the 7th to let the other guys ahead of him, and it slides Crawford back.
Okay, so I think Belt 6 and Morse 7 makes a lot of sense too. It also splits up your lefties, so they can't just come in and put a lefty in there. Just for two guys.
They only have two lefties in their bullpen. They don't have any lefty starters.
True. That's true. But at least you don't allow them to get get value out of those lefties.
Yeah. Oh, very much.
And none of their starters are lefties.
Ahead last night. So.
Yeah, they have 0 starters that are lefties. So
right.
So that does make sense. And Belt is obviously he's been hitting live pitching for a longer time recently. So he's actually I'm not concerned about Belt anymore, and I was very much so.
Yeah.
So Timmy, where do we use him? What happens here? He's just going to come into some sort of a blowout at this point, right?
Probably.
Is that ever going to happen? I mean, is there going to be a blowout one way or the other?
Personally, I think yeah.
You think so?
I think he'll end up coming in on the winning side of it. I see blowouts going the Giants' way, but not the Cardinals' way in this series.
I do remember though that when in 2012 when we first shifted him down there. The first time he did come in was that Reds game where we were getting blown out, and that was kind of the test run, and he proved himself. So if a situation like that arises again and he comes in and he pitches well, he's going to see more time. It's just I really hope that that's what actually goes down. He hasn't thrown in a long time. Maybe he's done the Vogelsong thing and he's fixed something. We don't know, but I think if he had fixed something, though, we would have seen him by now, right?
Well, with 4 starters that are now well established, knowing that Vogelsong is going to be trotted out there as the 4th starter, doesn't Petit assume the role that Timmy played back in 2012?
He does. Oh, he absolutely does. And right now, that role, it's not going to get taken away from him. However,
heck no.
In a way now, having 2 guys who can fill that role means you're not worried as much about extra inning ball games. You can actually kind of burn through your bullpen and feel okay with it, which is basically what Bochy did in that game too. Was he burned through it fairly? He burned through it as if we're going to win this game soon, and then it was like, okay, well now Petit's got to go 5. So I think it does give Bochy some leverage to be able to just kind of manage by the seat of his pants and not have to worry about stuff like that. So in a way that could be good, but I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing him get the full Zito treatment and just say, we're not going to use you. So
I'm with you. I'm freaked out. I'm a little freaked out by sending him out there in any kind of situation that's meaningful.
Yeah, exactly. And he still gets a ring, and he still was there. He had a no-hitter this year. He's going to have, it's just like with Zito. He had his moments. We needed every win out of everybody to get here in the first place, obviously. And I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that happening. I feel like he's a team player too. He would be fine with it too. All right, so what do we got here, Chad? What's your big question?
That's a good one. So
it looks like we've actually covered both of them. Now that I'm looking at them.
So
just through standard conversation,
I have a big question then.
Okay, all right.
I didn't get a chance to write it in there, but are the Giants bats going to actually wake up and start getting some extra base hits, or is this singles offense all we're going to see?
The ground attack, yeah. I'm not. I mean, I know we will at some point. At some point, someone's going to get a Pence. You can only hold Pence down for so long. He's been a singles hitter all the way so far throughout the playoffs. But you got Panda, you got Buster, you got Pence. Now with Morris coming back and Belt, and Crawford too, to an extent. All of these guys can hit for some power. So it's just a matter of in the playoffs, the pitching is just it gets so stingy, and everyone's bearing down on every single pitch. Nobody's taking a moment off ever, and offenses sputter around this time.
Yeah.
So
well, it's like surprising because Posey did not have an extra base hit in the series, yet he still batted something like 380.
No, he was like 380
or something.
Yeah,
Exactly. And they were all
hits.
singles, and they all came at the right times. But I mean, think about how different these last 4 games would have been had one swing of the bat, like we talked about, one leaving runners on, one double to a gap would have driven in 3 runs, and suddenly we wouldn't have worried about Bryce Harper hitting one into the cove.
Yeah, we had Pablo popping up with the bases loaded. We had people just grounding.
Brandon Belt striking out.
Yeah. So,
there
was some big at bats that did not. We didn't get that big hit. So
it's almost strange. I think the bats are going to totally turn around. I think it's going to be night and day coming to the next series. I actually think the Giants are going to score a lot of runs. There's a familiarity factor.
Sure.
There's the whole no left-handed starter on the Cardinals, so Bochy can play with the lineups any way he wants to. They only have to worry about 2 left-handed players coming in out of the bullpen. I think they're going to wake up.
That lefty the whole time. So.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I think they're going to wake up. I could see the Giants scoring over 5 runs like 3 times in this series.
I really hope that is correct, man. And I trust your gut, sir. I feel like you're a learned man when it comes to baseball. So if you say so, I'm going with it. I do think, though, that the Nationals had better pitching overall than the Cardinals do. So it makes sense, Yeah. It makes sense that it would happen that way. So I'm going to go with yes. Chad, what do you think? Yes? No? Going to wake up?
Oh, yes. Oh, okay. Absolutely.
All right. So we already talked about our armchair manager situation as well, too. We would not have brought in Strickland to face Hunter. So we're skipping all around in this podcast. That's fine because we're in playoff excitement mode. Things are going to happen like that. Professionalism, out the window. By the way, speaking of professionalism, I saw. Now I'm spacing on her name again. Natalie, is that her name?
Yeah, Natalie.
Yeah, she randomly showed up at Zeke's and sat right next to me.
Oh, really?
And I was sitting there. Yeah, and I was sitting there and I'm watching the game and I look to my right and I'm like, she looks familiar. And I just look back and then I noticed, because here's what she does. She's by herself. She's in like a little like tight dress because apparently she was working and she was doing some like on the street interviews or something like that. So she's like dressed up. She looks nice, and she orders a pitcher and just how many glasses? Just one. She gets a pitcher, she gets a glass, and she just sits there and she drinks a pitcher of beer.
Nice.
And, so I was like, I take notice of this,
Of course.
When a small Latin woman sits down next to me and orders an entire pitcher of beer for herself. And then I looked at her and was like, oh, I know you. And so we ended up hanging out the whole game and talking and stuff. But yeah, she unlike or just like us, was not able to procure any
she was
press box
not,
access.
Right? Yeah.
Because
Okay.
she's international, and I don't think she works for any specific publication. She's kind of freelance and stuff. So so it's they've tightened down the clamps on that, and what's unfortunate? They have that whole section out there in left field. It's like empty. It's empty.
I know.
I'll sit out there. I don't care.
I'll do
wherever.
it.
Yeah. I'll sit up there with my little iPad. I'll tweet. And
I'll be the auxiliary best, press box, whatever.
Sure, let's do this. Yeah, but oh well, not to be had this year. Hopefully, at some point, we'll get another chance for that. But all right, let's move on. Let's talk about our favorite guys now, because now we're in the full swing of things. This is playoff fever, getting that feeling again. And I predicted before the start of this, when we said like, why would we win it all? We're going to get some dark horses. We're going to get some surprises out of certain players. And I feel like that's starting to hold true a little bit. The guys that you aren't really expecting are the ones stepping up and winning us ball games. So I'm sure we'll be talking about some of those. So I'll go first. I'm going to say Tim Hudson.
Yep.
He's not necessarily a dark horse. That he's a guy who's got a lot of baseball experience. 18 years in the bigs, but never gotten past the division series. Never ever before and playing on really good ball clubs. That's really surprising that he's never been on a team that's actually gotten this far.
Sure.
But he basically, that was one of the best pitching duels you're ever going to see. And that one run didn't even have to happen. It was a kind of a seeing eye ground ball that just got through, So he could have easily had a shutout going as well. But he pitched incredibly well in a game we needed him to pitch incredibly well in, and he's been struggling down the stretch. So to have him go out there and stand toe to toe with their best pitcher and get us to the that ninth inning with only a 1-run deficit and us able to tie it up was massive. And so right now he's my new favorite guy, and looking forward to his next start in a big way. So Chad, who you got?
I got Ryan Vogelsong.
Perfect.
He is like the average pitcher, the mediocre pitcher for the regular season. And for some reason in the playoffs, he decides to turn it on.
He's a big game guy.
Yeah. 5 starts. He's 3-0 with a 1.19 ERA. He is the Clayton Kershaw of the playoffs. And Clayton Kershaw is the Ryan Vogelsong of the playoffs.
No, it's odd how that works, but yeah, Clayton had a bad playoff experience this year. He had a rough one.
How does that happen? The dude is going to be like certainly Cy Young, possibly MVP. The dude is 0-4 in 5 starts versus the Cardinals in the playoffs with like a 8-something ERA. I don't get it.
No, you can't even explain it, because it doesn't make sense. I mean, they were teeing off on him too in that first game when he gave up 8 runs. I mean, they were just.
He was up 6-2.
Yeah.
In the 7th inning.
Oh, I looked at my app and I said, "This game is over."
I turned it off.
Yeah. It's over.
There's just no point in watching this anymore because it's torturous to have to see the Dodgers do well. Yeah.
But even yesterday, it was 2-0. He had allowed 2 hits to that point, and there it goes.
Then he just fell apart, gave a 3-run shot.
Well, it's weird. The Cardinals are like, we own him. You got to think the Cardinals are in his head, almost in the way that your new favorite guy, Hudson, is in the Nationals' head. Because he came out with the hole between the legs, and we know it was
he was getting booed.
We know it was kind of in context to other stuff, but I think there was some truth to it because Hudson's always had that great record against the Nationals.
Yeah.
So I think that he played the same head game that the Cardinals do with Kershaw because he just is a different player.
I agree, and I think though I just want to give a little bit of I'm going to back up Hudson on this one. I don't think he said the Nationals don't have balls. I think he said the Giants have big ones.
Yeah.
That's really what he was saying there. Not that they don't, but just that we do, and I know that, because I've seen them every game. We finish and we go in the shower. Big balls on this team.
I have physically seen them, and I don't want to talk about it anymore.
All right, Eric, who do you got? I'm sensing a theme with our pitch favorite guys right now.
It's so funny. I thought the same thing. Mine's Yasmero Petit, because without his 6 innings in the 18-inning game, we might be fretting a game 5.
Oh, man.
They might already be eliminated. I mean, the fact that he was able to carry and throw a quality start. Grant over at McCovey Chronicles wrote a great thing about it. The quality start that Yasmero Petit had. Right there in the middle of extra inning baseball games. It was his postseason debut.
Sure.
And that speaks volumes to him. So Petit, I mean, I'm sure he's been my new favorite guy, but he's my new favorite guy for stepping up like that.
You know what's funny about that game? They basically started 2 baseball games on opposite ends and then played towards the middle. Yep. Like you had a starter on both sides, and then you just had a bunch of bullpen in the middle. But yeah, that I mean, what an epic game that was, and no one's ever going to forget that. 18 innings, pulling out the victory. If we lose that game, that is just a sick gut punch. And the fact that we win the game is even more of a gut punch to the Nationals because every single fan in that stadium and everybody watching, we all thought that we had lost that game. There was no way the Giants win that. 1 run felt like a million runs.
Oh yeah,
and I think you even tweeted it, Eric. I think you tweeted at some point because I was following along. You said, I've seen this game before and we lose.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It felt like all those regular season games, when they're playing the Padres in the middle of July, and it's like, why can't you hit this guy?
Yeah, the offense just sputters so it's just unbelievable. Couldn't get anything going. Not a walk. And you know what happens sometimes when a guy's pitching really well, or a guy has a reputation to be a really good pitcher. He's around the strike zone. He's going to get a first pitch strike. Teams, and a lot of teams do this, which I think is a mistake still, is they go okay, well, our mentality is going to be attack early, and we know he's going to throw a good pitch early. So you get a lot of one pitch outs because guys just swing right away, and you never get pressure on the guy. You never make him throw meaningful pitches. He basically just goes absolutely on cruise control. And that's what it looked like.
Won the wild card game. It was the exact same kind of game. He did. He went on cruise control. He owned that game.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Zimmerman, in very much the same way, was owning us. So that game was insane. And I watched that game in several locations. And I think that a lot of people have that story, too. Because I was at my mom's, and then I had to leave. I had to be here to do the Hearthstone thing. Got here, trying to play Hearthstone and watch the thing at the same. It was too much. And basically by myself lost my shit in my room when Brandon Belt. That was one of the best moments in all of our playoff history of the last 5 years. Is Brandon Belt's bat drop after he hit that. I mean, it was so beautiful.
My reaction to that home run was literally just repeating Belt, 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 Belt out loud over and over again because I couldn't believe it. It actually happened.
It was and it was a no doubter. It was the moment he hit it, it was like, yep, here we go. All right, so now that we've spread some love, why don't we spread some hate and let's hate some guys. I feel like there's only one guy to really hate, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
So I'll just start it off. Bryce Harper is just annoying when he's on the other and I'm not going to go out and say that this kid isn't very good. He's clearly very good. And in the same way as like Yasiel Puig, very good, animated, big personality, whatever, giant douche. Yeah, he hits those home runs, and you can feel him, just like his inner monologue is, yeah, that's fucking right. I'm so bad at it. Like that's just, you can just tell like that's the kind of thing that guy probably says. He probably gets up in the morning, like talks to himself in the mirror about how alpha he is, and he's but I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't deal with his stupid face the whole time, and every time he hit a home run, he would scream and yell, and then staring down Strickland as he rounded the bases, and then yelling shit back at him once he got into the dugout. Just all of it together, just the whole package, just annoyed the crap out of me. He's like the anti-Pence. It's like Pence is animated, Pence is in your face. But Pence is never mean, ever. He doesn't have a mean bone in his body, and he's just he's like joyous animated, and Bryce Harper is like douchey animated. I don't know. So anyway, he just bothers the shit out of me, as you can tell.
Yeah, no kidding.
Anything you'd like to add, anybody?
I mean, you covered pretty much all of it. You nailed it. He does. He stands in that mirror. I am the best in the world. I'm going to go win this game by myself.
And gosh darn it, I like me.
I like me. Yeah.
I mean,
I don't need people to like me. Yeah.
I think that's part of his shtick. I think you're dead on. Is his hollering and screaming, is him firing himself up. But if the rest of the team isn't doing anything, it's not going to matter. Also, it makes you wonder if the guy could ever be a leader when he's running around like that.
Sure. No, I mean, he doesn't. So another thing, Pence is firing up his teammates, and I don't think Bryce Harper's act is really doing anything for his teammates. No. I think they're obviously he had his little moment with Worth in the dugout after his home run, sure, two macho dudes being macho, but I don't. It's not the same thing. I mean, Pence is dancing with people. He's got different handshakes with everybody. He's screaming out obscenities and talking about champion blood and getting the yes movement going and so many things that he wants other people to be involved in how fired up he is. And I feel like Bryce Harper is just an island, He's just like, I'm fired up, and that's all that I need to do is just fired up.
It goes right back to, what you said about the Nationals. It seemed like every guy was trying to win the game for themselves, whereas opposed to the Giants are like, you know what, I fucking love this guy next to me, and I want to do it for him.
Yeah. Yeah, if that means bunting for a hit, if that means taking a walk, if that means whatever it is, I'm going to go for it, Yep. And, yeah, it's two totally different ways to approach the game of baseball, and the good guys won, man. I'm sorry. Sorry, everybody. Who's out there if you're a Nationals fan. The good guys won.
Harper's a jerk. Puig's a jerk.
Yep. So that's pretty good. Chad, I think you linked a tweet here. And I know the tweet that you're linking, but go ahead, and then I will counter argument.
No. Okay, look, I'm not here to defend Bryce Harper, okay? But I will say this. He has a series of tweets, which was before, yesterday's game and after yesterday's game. He loves San Francisco. He was walking down the Embarcadero. He was taking pictures at the Bay Bridge and the Blood Moon and, the lights of the city.
Well, what's not to love? He's from D.C., which is just like a shithole.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
And he's like, this place is awesome.
Yeah.
But
he's like, man, why do I play there? It's so dirty and gross. And just politicians, that's where it's all the money is. And everywhere else is just horrible. I don't know if you've ever been to D.C., but...
So he loved SF before, last night's game. But after last night's game, if you believe that he is, actually using his own Twitter account and not his representatives, he said, to the fans and organization of the SF Giants, congrats and well-deserved, classy and unbelievable group of people, #NLDS.
All right.
And it's a little weird because it
sounds sincere. I'll give him that.
He hit the home run off of Strickland, and here he is going you guys are cool, man. Whatever.
No, it's game face versus after he thinks about it for a second.
There you go.
Flex,
Yep, That's what I was going to say. It's like a football player.
Yeah. Yeah. When he's out there, he's got his game face on, and that's fine. I get that. And if that's what he has to do to get himself going, cool. Good for you, man. But I think, though, that when you put Hunter Pence next to this guy, Hunter shows the world that you can do that without becoming an unlikable guy. And Puig and Harper, these guys could really learn from okay, you can actually be inclusive in this and have fun with it and still be fired up about everything, and maybe that'll change as these guys are both young as hell. But it also Pence is just naturally that way, I think. And these guys are naturally the way they are. So, all right, now my favorite part of the show, and this time it feels very believable when we do this part of the show. Sometimes we do this after we've been on a horrible losing streak and lost a 9.5 game lead, and it seems a little less.
But not tonight.
No,
what do you mean the 2014 season wasn't all sunshine and roses?
It was such a bizarre season, man. I'm really looking forward to whatever happens when we actually do a season recap of this year. It's gonna sound like we're insane.
It's
people are gonna be like, that didn't happen.
Yeah,
your team is not a last place club. Why are you screaming about what they did wrong? Well, because they stunk for most of the year.
They were the worst team in baseball. They were the best team in baseball. Maybe they will be the best team in baseball again, and I believe they will. All right, so Why We Will Win It All by Willie Gregory. Here we go. We're never the favorite. We look bad on paper. We have key players missing. There's a lot of things that people can point to and say, this Giants team, they are the 10 seed in this tournament. They suck. They're not going to do it. But we have one thing that we do better than anybody else, and that's win ugly baseball games. When the game gets ugly, oftentimes we prevail, and baseball games tend to get ugly very often. Oh, yeah. This is a game that is played on a field, not on a piece of paper. A tiny little ball is rattling around out there, and it's being thrown really hard. It's just, it's just crazy shit happens on a baseball diamond. And the Giants just have that intangible that they do really well in that scenario. And that is playoff baseball especially. And in the playoffs, everything is heightened. Everything is it's just larger than it is in the regular season. You got to grind 162 games. In the playoffs, it's very short, lightning fast, and shit gets ugly quick, and the Giants really just excel in that situation. So it comes down to guts and grittiness. Giants have that covered. So Giants win it all. Grittiest team in baseball. Chad, what do you got?
As Ryan Vogelsong said, who has the balls? I mean, seriously.
Yeah?
The Giants, out of all of the teams, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but as far as the ESPN analysts, and they had like 70 analysts that started the
How do you
postseason.
get that job anyway?
I know.
Just never watch baseball? That's how you get that job? Just read about it all the time?
I think it included interns and cafeteria people and janitors or whatever. But
There's a lot of them. There's 70 of them.
But seriously, the Giants were never predicted by all 70 people to not make the NLCS.
Yeah.
Not one
One of
person.
them. Nope.
I mean that's crazy, man. I mean, how could not just like one person be like on drugs and
just
like
statistically somebody
just go like
should just push the wrong button.
I'm gonna like say select every single underdog because
I'm a massive troll.
Yeah, because I'm a massive troll.
Like yeah.
And guess what? Every single underdog won.
Yeah.
So
they got everything wrong. Not only that, they got everything wrong down to the wild card games.
Oh yeah,
like the A's were picked. It was
A's are gonna kill them. Yeah. Pirates are on a roll.
No, the thing that just absolutely is incredible is that the Giants. Even John Smoltz said, as the Giants had a 2-0 lead, "I will never pick against the Giants again." Because, but this is a minority view.
They keep doing it.
Yeah, but it's a minority view because still most of mainstream America is still picking against the Giants. 2010, they were the underdog in every single series. In 2012, they were the underdog in every single series. And now here we are in 2014, they are the underdog in every single series, yet they've won every single series. And it's just incredible to me that these guys just can't just say, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to go with the Giants all the way.
Well, because maybe they're fueling us, and if that's the case, fine, let's do it. Well, I care about the wins.
And that's a great point, because
I don't need the respect.
I do think that like a lot of the players do look at that and say, you know what, whatever, they don't pick us, I don't give a shit. I like all that
does is like win your arguments about who's a better baseball. Because and I saw this in the Phillies subreddit, in the Rangers subreddit, in the Tigers subreddit, in the National subreddit. They said, if we played like a 11-game series, we would have won.
Yeah,
the better team would have won in the end.
That's
great. Man, it's just a short sample size.
Game series.
Exactly. Yeah,
they schedule it this way for a reason.
Yep. But the fact of the matter is, well, if you're the better team, why don't you just win 3 games before we do?
Right.
So, all right. Yeah, I'm with you there, Chad. I'm with you. Fuck it. Keep us as the underdog forever.
Damn right.
All right. Eric, what do you got?
Well, it just speaks to everything you guys just said. It's the champion blood. And I'm starting to notice, and I've been always kicking this around over the last couple of years, but the champion blood of the Giants is almost becoming synonymous with the Cardinal way and Yankees pinstripes. And I think that the champion blood is a derivative of Sabian and the Yankees and all that stuff. I think this champion blood is going to continue on. There's going to still be people that want to come play for the Giants and things like that. I think the champion DNA, champion blood is there, and that's why they'll win it all, because they have the right people in place to make sure that they do that.
That's beautiful, man. You just brought a tear to my eye. It is true that the Giants are becoming a destination, and when players get here, they don't want to leave. And the rest of the league, the players they have to be taking notice of that. I mean, when you see Hunter Pence just go out of his way to make sure he stays on this team in a losing season, no less, in a really bad down year, he says, you know what, I don't even care. I want to be here. How do we make this happen? You got Pagan who's like, I want to stay. Scooter, I want to stay. They get here, they want to stay. And then when they leave kicking and screaming, a la Brian Wilson. So
right, and you've got that core that stays. You've got the Posey, the Bumgarner,
and they're locked up. They're locked up for a while now. So it's a beautiful thing that's being built here in San Francisco, and I'm looking forward to many, many more years. But let's start with this year. Let's start with this coming up game. That's what we should concentrate on. So Saturday, Game 1, Giants-Cardinals. It's a 5 o'clock start. I, unfortunately, am going to be – just a quick anecdote here. You guys know I do the podcast the other podcasts outside of this. I do the Instance. I do the Angry Chicken.
Sure.
And there's a lot of people who listen to that, and they're fans of those shows. And one guy in particular is a big fan of those shows, and also a big fan of hockey. And several times on those shows, I brought up the fact that I don't understand this hockey thing, man. It just seems like it's random. They just bang this puck around, and it might or might not go in. I don't know. So anyway, he heard this at some point. He said he's made it his mission. He is going to make me a hockey fan. So he is flying all the way here from Seattle for one day to take me to the Sharks game on Saturday.
Nice.
And he's flying down here from Seattle. He's going to take me to the game. He's like, I'm picking up the tab on this one. I want to take you to a game. So we're going to go see the game. Going to go drive out there to San Jose, check the game out. And unfortunately, I believe it's an evening game. So I'm going to be screwed because I'm going to be trying to figure out how to watch this stupid Giants game, and I won't be able to, and it's going to make me infuriated. So that sucks. So I'm going to need you guys to pick up the slack.
No,
right?
I can't because Saturday is my 11th.
God damn it.
No, it's my 11th wedding anniversary.
Oh, that's not important.
And we have the babysitter coming.
That got
No,
caught in my throat.
we have the
10 or
babysitter
15
coming.
or 20. This is 11, dude.
No.
Come
Wait,
on.
how come you
We
got
have the
married during
babysitter
October?
coming at 5:30, which is the first pitch time.
Wow. Yeah. That was actually, I'm sorry, dude, but that was a bad play. That was a misplay.
I know.
In October.
It was like Gio Gonzalez trying to field a ground ball. I know.
Yeah, that was an error on your part. Mark
Yeah.
that down.
Probably
on the scoreboard.
honeymooned in October. I mean, what happened if the Giants were there? That's 11
Exactly.
years. That was the 03
See, but
season.
11
It was.
yeah, 11
Junior
years
Oh, no.
saved you.
Eric,
You were heartbroken. You were like, I don't care. I never want to be around in the World Series.
no,
ever
what's
again.
really funny is that, that was, 2003 is when they lost the LDS to the Marlins in 5 games.
JT Snow.
JT Snow, trying to score against Pudge Rodriguez there. And, that was like 2 days before our wedding. And I was like, well, honey, at least I don't have any distractions for our wedding.
I'm here for
It's
you
like,
now, babe.
there's
Yeah.
no NLDS or NLCS for you. So, yeah. So
All right,
it
well,
was-
Eric,
it was
are you
clean.
gonna back us up here? Are you gonna
I-
watching the
I
game?
will be there from first pitch to
Nice.
last.
Oh, thank
Good.
God. Okay, I was about
Good.
to say, we are the Giants podcast that doesn't watch the Giants game. What the
Apparently.
hell?
Yeah.
I'm not going to miss a
national
single of it.
pregame stuff. I don't watch any of that crap. I tune in at game time because I can't
Yeah.
stand the national guys, but I will
Sure.
be there.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's gonna
you're
be
have
Joe
to take it home
Buck.
for us here.
Joe Buck again.
By the
with
way, another
Cardinals.
point that I never even made, but I feel is very important is, that whole wild card disadvantage? That shit is gone, dude. We have Bumgarner going game 1.
Oh, yeah.
And on full rest. That whole thing where you have to start your best guy and that makes it harder the rest of the way. Forget that noise. That does not mean shit anymore. So Giants played their way out of that one beautifully.
Hell
So,
yeah.
good job there. All right, well, that's going to do it for us. If you guys want to follow us, you can follow each one of us individually or collectively. We are all at TortureCast. You can follow us individually. Chad K21 is Chad. At Fried Duck is Ben, who's not here, unfortunately, but we miss him. He's been watching, I think he went to one of the games, too. So,
Yes, he
then,
did.
of course, I am at Willie Dills. And Eric is at 2 Out Hits. Probably the most important thing that ever happens in a ball game is the 2 Out hit. And so good job getting that Twitter handle, man. Oh, also, let's pimp your blog real quick before we go.
Oh yeah, I'm doing some writing during the postseason too, and I recently put up at 2outhits.com. It's the number 2outhits.com, and I recently shared the MLB gifts. Shared the final out of every game during the Giants' 10-game
Nice.
postseason winning streak. So you can head on over to 2outhits.com, and I gathered them all together and I put them all in form for everybody to see. And it's amazing to look back to see how there were so many blowouts and yet there were so many close games at the same time. And it's always nice to celebrate again.
Sure. I think it's time to start a new one. Let's go 9 this time, though.
Yeah.
9 will do it.
I can handle that.
9 will do it. We got 1. We need 8 more, and let's get them in a row. That would be great. All right, so that is where you can find that. It's a really good blog. Everyone go check it out. You can also follow or find our podcast at torchcast.com. We're on Facebook. We're on the YouTubes. We're in all the places. So go check it out on the Stitcher and the iTunes, all those things. And I think Colin Hanks is now following us. He's a
Yes,
big
he is.
Yeah, he tweeted out the other day asking if anybody knew of a Giants podcast.
And he responded to a tweet that I sent out today. So it was
Did
great.
you?
Oh,
Sweet.
yeah.
I tweeted.
So it was
him.
a Clayton Kershaw.
Oh, the choking hazard. Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one.
He loved that.
But I tweeted at him because I saw it, and then I realized other people had already suggested our show. So
that's great.
That was cool.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a nice little moment of like, yeah, they're listening, they care.
Yep.
So these guys care about us. So we're going to continue to do as many shows as we can during this playoff run. Hopefully that means a lot more shows because there'll be a lot more playoff baseball. And we're going to enjoy the ride with all of you. Cannot wait for this series to start. We'll see everybody for episode 74, whenever that happens. It's probably going to be at an odd time, but it's going to happen. So for me, for Chad, for Eric, the missing Ben, see you next time. Boom.
A big thank you to everybody for listening to the Torture Cast, the podcast by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants. Follow us on Twitter at TortureCast. You can also like us on Facebook or check out our blog at torturecast.com. I also want to say thank you to Ashcon and Bailey for letting us use their song Feeling Like a Giant for our intro. For Ben Lee and Chad King, my name is Willie Dills saying, we'll see you next time.